What's going on, everyone? Daniel Rodriguez here, and welcome to my Fargo Season 3 spoiler review. I'm back after a long hiatus, after a long journey through the wilderness, the rain, the forest, everything, hell or high water. I'm finally back. TV show reviews, the last thing I did, man, was early December. That was the last TV show review I did. I've been watching a lot of TV through there, a lot of movies, a lot of stuff has happened in my life, a lot of loss, and a few gaining things, man. But I'm back. Fargo is back. One of the most underrated shows, one of the best shows on TV at the moment. If you're not watching Fargo, go home. Season 1, amazing. Season 2, amazing. Noah Hawley is the guy. Ryan Murphy and Noah Hawley are the top guys right now, in my opinion, as well as the man who makes Mr. Robot. Those three guys right there, if they came together and collabed and made a show, that's the show. That is the show. And the Game of Thrones guys, too, came along. Imagine that. That's going to be one hell of a show. Anyway, before I begin, remember, it's a spoiler review. It should take me about 2 minutes to recap the episode, then give you my pros, cons, and final score. Before I begin, I just want to give a quick shout out to someone who means so much to me. And I've been meaning to say this for a long time, but after last night, I just wanted to say it even more. And it fueled me. It fueled me to come up in front of you guys in the camera and tell you right now, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's ass. That is one of the reasons which made the premiere even bigger. Bigger, per se. Let me just say that. You know me. You know my ways. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, a beautiful actress. I'm so happy she's in this season. She kicks ass. Watch 10 Cloverfield Lane. She's amazing in there. Her facial reactions, fantastic. She looks beautiful in here, and she showed her ass. And I'm just like, are they going to do it? It's FX. American Horror Story, Sons of Anarchy. Could have showed a little tit, but we got the ass, and I'm very excited for that. Anyway, let's get started. On to the recap. Then on to the pros and cons and final score. Now, since I've wasted a few minutes of your time right there, I'm going to go as fast as I can on the recap. Some things I did understand, some things I didn't, so bear with me here as I say. What I saw is what I wrote, and if you want to correct or any of that, or talk it out down below, we can. Anyway, let's begin. Fargo Season 3, Episode 1, The Law of Vacant Places. Now, we see Berlin 1988 as a commander or general is sitting there eating his food. A guy walks in, he's about to be questioning this man. He ends up saying that, "Are you Yuri?" And no, the guy's name's Jacob, and he says, "Your wife's dead. She was strangled this morning. Here's a picture of her body." He says, "No, my wife's name is Helga, but that's not the Helga we're talking, like, that's not Helga, that's not my wife." So it's a bunch of all this kind of like, what's going on, messing with your head. Are you saying the government's wrong? Or, that could get you killed, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I kind of put Nazi talks to a man. After that, we see Emmett celebrating his 25th wedding anniversary. Emmett is played by Ian McGregor, as well he plays his brother Ray, who is his girlfriend is Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Anyway, so Ray asks for his stamp, and it's a whole brother thing. Emmett ended up staying with his stamp, and he wants the money. He wants the stamp back so he could end up getting money to buy a ring for Nikki, his girlfriend, who he loves so much. And he's like, "This is the one. She's a catch. I want to buy her a good ring. She deserves a good ring." So it's kind of like a silly, like, really? Like, that's okay. So this is the story so far. You want your damn stamp so you could do, sentimental value or kind of stuff like that, in a way he's asking for money and all that. So he ends up getting denied. Ray gets Maurice to try to steal the stamp from Emmett, which Maurice is played by Scoot McNairy. Halt and Catch Fire, really awesome guy. A very underrated show. If you have not seen Halt and Catch Fire, watch it. Anyway, and it's on Netflix. It's a 1 out of 5 stars. That is fucking bullshit. It's not a 1 out of 5 stars. Trust me. Watch Halt and Catch Fire. Trust me. If you're going to do anything, get anything out of this video, watch Halt and Catch Fire. It's amazing. Anyway, so he ends up losing the note to Emmett's house, the address. So while he's trying to talk to his shrink on the phone, Emmett ends up getting called to work, and a VM guy is there. He says VM something, and he basically he warns them, basically saying, "We're in your system. We're in all this. We know what you're doing. Just do the checks right. Stay silent, and we're going to be coming after you," blah, 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 all that type of stuff there. that's kind of where it kind of lost me in a way where it's one of those scenes where you got to rewatch it a few times, that scene, to kind of get the gist of it. So his company is in the system. Maurice gets down, he gets the wrong, he goes down the wrong path. He's supposed to go down Eden Prairie. He went down Eden Hill, something like that. So anyway, he ends up, he goes to the old man's house, which Carrie Coon's character, that's her father-in-law, she's related to that man or else from her husband or so forth. So father-in-law, and that's Carrie Coon's character. She has her son there. She ends up taking him, and they're going to go, end up leaving, going back home. So he ends up killing him. We didn't see him kill him, but he ended up killing him. He's locked there, restrained and dead. And anyway, so the daughter ends up finding a box. She goes back, she sees that he's dead, she finds a box in the ground, and it's connected with this statue that he ended up making for the son. That's more to the season later on for that. So anyway, so Maurice ends up going to Ray and tells him that it's done. And this is my favorite part out of the whole episode right here. So he tells him it's done, he killed the old guy, and all this, they're freaking out. And then, of course, he says he made a mistake, and then he ends up threatening Ray. You know who I am. She knows who I am. All this, I want $5,000 or $5 million. I think it's $5,000, he said. Anyway, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Nikki Swango, whatever his name were there, but Nikki, she ends up getting up and showing the luscious booty. And I would have been like, well, alright, I guess we're doing that, man. And sharing it with Ian McGregor. Imagine that. That would be something right there. Anyway, Maurice ends up leaving. They kill him with the AC unit. It falls down, crushes him on the head. God damn it, Scoot McNairy. I was like, oh my god, he's joining Fargo. I can't wait to see his kid. He's dead. He's dead. You fucked. You're fucked. Scoot McNairy, man. At least he was on. At least you could say you were on Fargo, and he did really awesome for his role. Anyway, the cops arrive and at where Maurice is dead, and the cops arrive as well, where Carrie Coon's character is. Ladies and gentlemen, now on to the pros and cons. Starting off the pros, like I said a few seconds ago, the character of Maurice, played by Scoot McNairy. I really enjoyed this character, especially the certain shots of him. I thought he was smoking meth, but I guess it was just either weed or it could have been a cigarette, because he kind of did all that, but he was just, those little shots of him, like, and the smoke coming out of his mouth. He's not a good guy. You don't want to get near him. And of course, Ray is his parole officer, and Ray's dealing with other stuff, and he's trying to do this for his girl, and he wants to stand back, and he's going to Maurice, and all this stuff. But I gotta say, I really did enjoy Maurice's character, man. I at least expected Scoot McNairy to. I didn't think he'd be in the whole season, but I expected him to be in a few episodes, 3 or 4 episodes, but to have him die just like that, it was a pretty brutal death, man, for an AC unit to fall. And in a way, it's kind of like, yeah, that would happen. You got him at the right time. How did you know he was going to stop and have a cigarette right there? You could have chanced it. He could have walked away. I literally thought he was going to walk away at the last second, and the AC unit just falls. But he's dead. I'm pretty sure of it. He's a goner. You're fucked. His head probably got crushed. I think in the preview still has his head, but it's a pretty brutal way to die, man. But anyway, I gotta say, Scoot McNairy, man, he did awesome. From his role from *Halt and Catch Fire* as Gordon to this character, he really did become someone else, and I really did enjoy seeing that. As always, this is no shocker here. The cinematography and the music for Fargo is amazing. Not only is the cast really awesome this year, although I will say Season 2 and Season 1 had a better cast. Nothing against, again, Ian McGregor, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Carrie Coon, like all these people, they're a really good cast. But I wouldn't say it's a Season 1 cast or Season 2 cast, but it's different and a different vibe and a different experience that Noah Hawley and the team are trying to bring to us. But still, the cinematography is really, really still strong. You could still feel the presence there. It has the Fargo vibe. It has the whole Minnesota, this type of thing going on. And the music. I really enjoyed the music in this episode, from Heart and then to the beginning of the opening scene, with the opening as part of the pros, because it's a story that's going to most likely carry on to episode to episode to episode, and we're going to get more of those characters. How does that 1988 Berlin character connect to the 2010 part of the story? I'm pretty sure it's all there with, of course, Emmett getting threatened by that guy with the company. I'm pretty sure that's how it all connects there. Anyway, I have to say the cinematography and the music, man. The music was awesome in here. And, of course, I would say that's the Fargo theme song from Season 1 with the kind of the orchestra in the beginning when it showed the picture in the 1988 show. Or, in the beginning of the 1988. And then it went right into the Fargo and the snow and everything. That music right there, I love it. And this is a true story. This is a story. Just a story. I love that. Now, Ian McGregor is a very busy man. I'm still surprised how much they filmed this and when were they filming. Very secretive. He did Beauty and the Beast, and then T2, and now this. I mean, he's everywhere. Literally, Ian McGregor is everywhere nowadays, and it's not a bad thing. Him playing Ray and Emmett, I gotta say, that's commitment for one thing. To play two brothers, that is commitment right there, and doing the hair. And honestly, I thought one of the characters were going to be like gangsterish and going to be like, yeah, we're the mob or whatever. You know, I thought Ray was going to be, because he looks like a mob guy. Doesn't he look like a dirty, skeezy mob guy? But he's a parole officer. And then the other guy's, you know, working for the Stutzy company, his own company. Like, isn't it weird? Like, they look like they're mob people and they're like gangster type of people, but they're not. They're, at least not that we know of. They're just regular guys. That is so weird. I thought there was going to be some evil twist to them. Maybe there is. I have no idea. But Ian McGregor is playing it very well. The way he plays Emmett and the way he plays Ray. I gotta say, Ray's my favorite so far at the moment. Now, something I forgot to say earlier with the entertainment and music is the dialogue. Now, this ain't no Mr. Robot for dialogue-wise. My favorite dialogue-driven show is Mr. Robot. That's really, you gotta pay attention to that. This is more of a character-driven show and what these characters do. Not, and Mr. Robot's also character-driven, but this really, dialogue strong. It is, but it's no dialogue drives it forward all the time. It's what the character, like, because literally, shows like this, the show could open, the first 10 minutes could be someone getting coffee, eating their breakfast, and then it says Fargo. That's all it could be, and it's like, oh, wow, that was pretty good, you know, oh, yeah, cinematography, you know. It could be anything like that, but honestly, the music for that, and the dialogue and what they did, like, because there's a few humorous things I found about this. One of the things that made me laugh is when Ray was closing his car, and the guy was like, the valet guy was like, a tip? Get a real job. And he just closes the door, and I found that humorous. I laughed at that. And then another one was when Scoot McNairy, he was like a stamp, like a real stamp. That was another scene that I laughed my ass off. And besides Mary Elizabeth Winstead being in here, I'm already enjoying her character. That's my favorite scene, because it was pretty strong with Maurice holding the gun, and they're both looking at her when she gets up, and it's like, Ray, you've seen this before. She's your girlfriend. You shouldn't be like, oh, wow, this is, wow. Oh, very hypnotizing. Like, you know how she looks, boy. Grab the gun, take it away. That's just, at least that's how I was, too. I was like, because I didn't expect that. And I don't know why, it's an FX show, I should expect it, but I didn't expect Mary Elizabeth Winstead to get up and I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah, you got my attention now, Noah Hawley. You got my attention now. I like Nikki, she's a really cool character. But besides her being awesome, not only for, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is awesome in here. And I love the whole, let's play and gambling and doing the cards. That was all fun too. I really did enjoy it. But the last thing I can say for the pros before I get to the cons, because there are a few things I didn't find that I liked in this episode. It's more my opinion wise. You could be different. It is different. It is interesting, and I want to see where this goes, but there are certain things in this episode that I didn't find interesting, that I'm not liking yet. It does have a slower pace to it, I will say. Like, every show has a slow pace to it, but there were one of those moments where someone who's watching this, they could be like, okay, this is the way the characters were introduced, fine, but this is a new set of characters. Remember, we gotta get me into these characters, and I'm into some of the characters there. There are, Carrie Coon's character, honestly, if I'm being honest here, I'm pretty sure she's gonna be awesome down the road in next episodes, but again, we didn't have much time with her this episode, and she just appears, and she's just a regular law woman, and okay, and really, there's nothing there for me to be like, wow, she's an amazing character, congrats, yay, Carrie Coon. Nothing as of yet. Another scene that I mentioned earlier really lost me is when that guy was threatening Emmett. telling him that his company's watching him or we're in your system and all that. That stuff there, that kind of lost me. And again, you have to watch it a few times. I know somebody's going to be like, it's this, it's that. Like, if you understand, that's great. But mind you, not everyone's brain thinks the same. Sometimes they see it differently than what you see it differently. And obviously, right or wrong, it still was a scene where I was like, okay, you're okay. Can we go back to Ray and Mary Elizabeth Winstead? But I know Emmett's important as well and all that. But it still was kind of a scene that you get lost at. You do get lost in that scene unless you're just eyes glued. You get lost to that scene very quickly with the guys threatening, and it's like, who are you? Who are you, guy? Like, what are you here for? And this, and he just randomly shows up and just starts telling this guy, Emmett, all this stuff. So it's a lot to take in with that scene. Again, it's a very different taste. As for episode 1, I think it's a really good episode. I don't think it's great. I think there were 2 great moments, but I didn't think it was great, which is not a bad thing. It's fine. As of the first episode, do I think it's season 1 quality or season 2 quality? I say it's its own thing. It's season 3. It's its own thing, doing its own stuff, man. And it's kind of weird being back in 2010 with this, because it feels like, honestly, some parts feel, I guess the way Ray's hair is and Emmett's hair, I feel like it's the 80s, or at least the 80s, at least the way it looks. Is this really in 2010? I'm assuming it is. It looks weird. It doesn't look like they're in 2010. I don't remember that being the style in 2010. I'll go with it, though. Anyway, I'm going to give Fargo Season 3, Episode 1, the Season 3 premiere on its junior year. I'm going to end up giving this episode a solid B. Again, it was a really good episode. I thought a few great scenes, and that's about it. I like a few characters. Some characters I'm not a big fan of yet. Definitely the opening catches my eye. Very interesting with the 1988 Berlin. I want to see where we go from there. But again, I trust in Noah Hawley. I don't see much wrong with the first episode. It is an episode I could probably go back and watch again and kind of dive deeper into where this is or where that is. Maybe I missed a few things. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to smack that like button. Comment down below. Share with your friends, family. I also do many giveaways. A lot of giveaways I'm doing right now, so make sure to stay tuned to the channel. I'll see you next week for more Fargo. This is my big comeback. This is it. Expect to see more TV show reviews and movie reviews on the way. Like, comment, share, subscribe, the whole cliche thing, man, but I promise I will deliver. I'll deliver. Fargo Season 3, I'm so glad it's back, man. Mr. Robot comes back this year. Last Ship comes back. Halt and Catch Fire. Everything's coming back. It's a good time to be alive, man. Thank you again. Until next time, bye-bye.